We think it's best if you skip party this year. My mother's text message glowed on my phone screen, each word hitting like a physical blow. Amanda wants a perfect holiday with just us and the kids. You understand, right? I stared at my phone, sitting in what used to be my grandmother's study. The antique desk I carefully restored gleamed in the afternoon light, its rich mahogany surface reflecting the party decorations I'd spent the weekend hanging. Every corner of this house held memories of the work I'd poured into it over the past year. My name is Catherine Mitchell, and at 34, I'd just been uninvited from party in the home I legally owned. You can drop off any gifts beforehand. Another text buzzed through. Amanda doesn't want any awkwardness on the actual day. Amanda, my younger sister, the family favorite who'd never lifted a finger to help save our grandmother's home when it was falling apart. The same sister who'd been too busy finding herself in Europe when Grandma passed away, leaving the house in desperate need of repair. I ran my hand along the desk's smooth surface, remembering the hours I'd spent stripping away decades of neglect. When nobody else in the family wanted to deal with Grandma's old house, I'd stepped up. I'd sold my condo in the city, emptied my savings, and dedicated a year to bringing this place back to life. The renovation hadn't been easy. The Victorian-era home had needed everything from a new roof to updated plumbing. Every weekend, every vacation day, every spare moment had been spent here. While Amanda posted pictures of her perfect life with her perfect husband and perfect kids, I was covered in dust, learning about load-bearing walls and historical preservation. My phone buzzed again. Mom says you're not responding. Don't make this difficult, Kate. You know how important family traditions are to Amanda. That message was from my father, always the mediator, always trying to keep the peace by giving Amanda whatever she wanted. The irony of talking about family traditions in the house I'd saved from demolition wasn't lost on me. I walked through the rooms, each one a testament to my dedication. The living room where I'd discovered original hardwood floors under decades of carpet. The kitchen I'd modernized while keeping Grandma's beloved vintage tiles. The sunroom where she used to read to us as children, now restored to its former glory with new windows that perfectly matched the original design. Another text. The kids are so excited about party at great-grandma's house. Please don't ruin this for them. I smiled bitterly. Great-grandma's house. Not Catherine's house. Not the home their aunt had spent a year restoring. In their minds, I was just the caretaker, the reliable sister who'd handle the dirty work while they planned their perfect family party. They'd all conveniently forgotten the family meeting last year, when nobody wanted to deal with the inheritance. Amanda had been too busy with her social life, Mom thought the house was too much trouble, and Dad suggested selling it to developers. I was the only one who saw what this place could be, what it meant to our family's history. Fine, I'd said then. I'll buy everyone's shares. I'll fix it up myself. They'd laughed, not believing I could do it. Amanda had even made a joke about my cute little project. But I did it. I bought them out, invested everything I had, and transformed the crumbling Victorian into a showpiece that would have made Grandma proud. Now they wanted to exclude me from party in my own home. My phone buzzed one more time. We'll be there on the 23rd to decorate. Amanda has some wonderful ideas to make the house more festive. I walked to the front window, watching the snow begin to fall. The porch railings I'd spent weeks restoring were already draped with the garland I'd hung. Warm lights twinkled from every window, and the antique door wreath, the one Grandma had made decades ago and I'd carefully preserved, welcomed visitors with its timeless elegance. Amanda's idea of festive usually involved plastic inflatables and enough lights to be seen from space. She'd probably want to cover up all the careful restoration work with her dollar store decorations. I sat back at Grandma's desk, my fingers tracing the delicate inlay I'd spent hours repairing. A year ago, this room had been water damaged and moldering. Now it was a testament to craftsmanship and care, just like every other room in the house. My phone lit up with another message, this time with a photo attached. Amanda's kids posed in matching party sweaters, their perfect smiles beaming beneath a caption, "Can't wait for party at the old house." The old house, my house. I opened my laptop, my hands steady despite the anger coursing through me. They'd forgotten one very important detail in their perfect party plans. Every deed, every bill, every insurance document was in my name. I made sure of that when I bought them out. It was time they remembered exactly who owned this house. Opening my email, I began to type. The next morning, I made 3 important calls. The first was to my lawyer, Emma, who'd handled the property transfer last year. The second was to a security company. The third was to my grandmother's old friend, Martha, who lived next door and had watched the entire renovation with proud approval. They did what? Emma's voice crackled through my speakerphone as I made coffee in my carefully restored kitchen. They've decided to have party here without me, I replied, keeping my voice steady. Planning to arrive on the 23rd to decorate. In the house you own? The one you have sole legal rights to. Emma's tone shifted from disbelief to professional interest. The property they all signed away their claims to. The very same. And they just forgot this detail. Apparently. I stirred my coffee, watching the snow continue to fall outside the kitchen window. Amanda's been posting all over social media about their perfect family party at our family home. Emma was quiet for a moment. You know, as your lawyer, I should advise you to simply send them a formal notice reminding them of the property ownership. And as my friend, she laughed. As your friend, I say make them remember it in a way they'll never forget. The security company arrived that afternoon. I had them install a state-of-the-art system, complete with cameras and a new gate across the long driveway. Martha watched from her porch, waving as the workers completed their installation. Your grandmother would be proud, she said later, accepting a cup of tea in my kitchen. Not just of how you've restored the house, but of you finally standing up for yourself. I glanced around the kitchen, remembering how Martha had been the only one to visit during the renovation, bringing lunch and encouragement during the longest days. She'd watched me learn plumbing, electrical work, and carpentry, never doubting I could do it. Amanda always did get her way, Martha continued, her voice gentle but firm. Even when you girls were little, running around this kitchen while your grandmother baked. It's time that changed. My phone buzzed with another text from my mother. Amanda's ordered the most beautiful decorations. We're thinking of putting the tree in front of that old bookcase you restored. The kids need more room to open presents. The bookcase in question was an original piece, built into the wall. I'd spent weeks refinishing it, carefully matching the historic wood stain. The thought of it being blocked by Amanda's artificial tree made my jaw clench. They really have no idea what's coming, do they? Martha asked, noting my expression. None at all. The week before party passed quickly. My family's texts increased, each one detailing their plans for my house. Amanda wanted to move furniture to accommodate her kids' play area. Mom suggested storing my cluttered antiques in the attic to make room for their celebrations. Dad asked if I could make sure the driveway was plowed for their arrival. I responded to none of them. Instead, I prepared. The security system was tested and ready. Emma had drafted all the necessary paperwork. Martha had agreed to be my witness if needed. Even the local police had been notified, just in case my family didn't take the news well. On December 23rd, right on schedule, 3 cars pulled up to the new security gate. From my grandmother's study, I watched through the security cameras as my family emerged, cars packed with plastic decorations and oversized gifts. Amanda reached the gate first, frowning when her attempt to open it failed. Mom tried next, then Dad, all looking increasingly confused. Finally, my phone rang. Kate? Mom's voice was sharp. There's something wrong with the driveway gate. We can't get in. Nothing's wrong with it, I replied calmly. It's working exactly as intended. What do you mean? Open it up, we need to get started decorating. Amanda has a schedule planned. No. What do you mean no? I mean no, you're not coming in. This is private property, my private property. Or did you all forget that part? Through the camera, I watched their expressions change as my words sank in. Amanda's face reddened, Mom's mouth dropped open, and Dad started pacing. This isn't funny, Catherine. Amanda's voice cut through in the background. Open the gate right now. Or what? I asked, surprising myself with how steady my voice remained. You'll uninvite me from party in my own house again. Silence. Let me be clear, I continued. This house, the one you all signed away your rights to, the one I spent a year restoring while you posted vacation photos, is mine. You have no right to be here, no right to move my furniture, and absolutely no right to cover up my restoration work with dollar store decorations. But it's the family home, Mom stammered. No, it's my home, and I'm not invited to party here, remember? You can't do this. Amanda's voice reached a pitch I hadn't heard since our teenage years. "We have plans. The kids are expecting party here." Through the security camera, I watched her gesture wildly at her children, who looked confused in the back seat of their car. My heart softened slightly at their innocent faces, but I steeled myself. This wasn't about them. It was about years of being taken for granted. "Actually, I can. And I am." I took a deep breath. "But I'm willing to negotiate." "Negotiate?" My father's businessman instincts perked up. "What do you mean?" "If you want to have party here, we can discuss terms. All of you come back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Bring coffee. We'll have a family meeting like we should have had weeks ago." "But tomorrow's party eve," Amanda protested. "Then I suggest you make alternative plans just in case." I ended the call and watched through the cameras as they argued among themselves in the snow. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, they returned to their cars and drove away. Martha, who'd been watching from her window, called immediately. "Well done, dear. Your grandmother just did a little dance in heaven." That night, I slept better than I had in weeks. The next morning, precisely at 10 a.m., my family returned. This time, when they reached the gate, I buzzed them in. I waited in the formal living room, where last party we'd had the meeting about the house's fate. The room looked drastically different now, restored to its original glory, with every detail carefully preserved or renewed. They filed in silently, taking in the transformation. Mom's eyes widened at the gleaming woodwork. Dad ran his hand along the restored crown molding. Even Amanda fell quiet as she noticed the family photos I'd carefully arranged on the walls, including several of Grandma in this very room. "Sit down," I said, gesturing to the antique furniture I'd reupholstered. "We need to talk." "Kate," Mom began, but I held up my hand. "No, let me speak first." I stood by the fireplace where Grandma's stockings, including the ones she'd made for Amanda's kids, hung perfectly arranged. "This house isn't just a building. It's not just a convenient location for your perfect party. It's our family's history, and I've spent the last year preserving it." I walked them through each room, pointing out the work I'd done, the original features I'd saved, the modern conveniences I'd carefully integrated without destroying the home's character. With each revelation, their expressions shifted from annoyance to amazement. "I had no idea," Dad murmured, examining the kitchen's restored vintage tiles. "Of course you didn't," I replied. "None of you visited while I was working. None of you asked. You just assumed I'd handle everything like always." Amanda had the grace to look embarrassed. We thought you were just fixing it up a little. And then you thought you could exclude me from party in my own home." I turned to face them all. "That stops now. Here are my terms." I laid out my conditions. If they wanted to celebrate party here, it would be with me, not without me. The house's restored features would be respected. No moving furniture, no blocking architectural elements, no cheap decorations covering up the history I preserved. But most importantly, I concluded, this becomes a real family home again. That means all of us working together, respecting each other and this place. There was a long silence. Finally, Mom spoke up, tears in her eyes. "We've been horrible, haven't we?" "Yes," I said simply. "You have." "The house is beautiful, Kate," Dad added. "You've done what none of us thought possible." Amanda stood up, looking around with new eyes. "I was jealous," she admitted suddenly. "You did something amazing here, and I couldn't stand that you'd succeeded where I never even tried." It wasn't a perfect apology, but it was a start. "So," I said, "what's it going to be? Party together, respecting each other and this house, or party somewhere else?" They chose to stay. Over the next 2 days, we decorated together, properly this time. Amanda's kids helped hang ornaments on a real tree that didn't block any architectural features. Mom learned the history behind each restored element. Dad fixed the squeaky board on the stairs he'd always promised to repair. On party morning, watching my nieces and nephews open presents in front of the fireplace, I caught Martha waving from next door. She gave me a thumbs up through the window, and I smiled back. The house felt alive again, filled with the kind of family warmth Grandma had always created. It wasn't perfect. These things never are. But it was real. And this time, we were all invited.